Hello and welcome. Today, we're going to explore how to engage young people in decision-making and research, with a particular focus on active travel. But first, what exactly is active travel? Put simply, active travel refers to any way of getting from A to B using physical activity. This includes walking, cycling, scooting, skateboarding, or using a wheelchair. Unlike sitting in a car or taking a bus, active travel is a mode of transport that keeps you moving, helping to improve physical health, mental well-being, and sustainability. By involving young people in active travel conversations, we can create positive change in multiple ways. We can encourage healthier habits that last into adulthood, reduce congestion and pollution in our communities, make our towns and cities more accessible and connected, ensure young people have a voice in decisions that directly affect them. So whether you're a teacher, youth worker, policymaker, or community leader, this guide will give you practical strategies for engaging young people in active travel research. The key to effective youth engagement is ensuring that young people actively participate in the process, not just as observers, but as decision makers. One of the best ways to achieve this is through participatory research. Participatory research is an approach where the people being studied, young people in this case, play an active role in shaping the research and its outcomes. Rather than treating them as subjects, we treat them as co-researchers, empowering them to share their own experiences, identify challenges in their communities, propose and test solutions, influence policy and decision-making. To ensure meaningful involvement, we can use Hart's Ladder of Participation, a framework that categorizes levels of youth engagement, from tokenism to youth-led research. There's more about this in the toolkit. As a facilitator, your job is to create a safe and open space where young people feel comfortable sharing their thoughts. This means actively listening, asking open-ended questions, and allowing young people to lead discussions whenever possible. Avoid dominating the conversation or steering it towards predetermined conclusions. Instead, encourage participants to explore ideas freely and express their perspectives. Remember, your role is not to provide all the answers, but to guide the discussion and amplify young people's voices. In summary, engaging young people in conversations about active travel can lead to meaningful change. By understanding their perspectives, identifying barriers, and working together on solutions, we can create a future where active travel is safer, more accessible, and more widely adopted. This toolkit provides you with everything you need to get started, from structured activities to best practice guidelines. So, take the next step and begin the conversation with the young people you work with. Together, we can build healthier, more connected communities. The Active Travel Toolkit provides 7 hands-on activities to engage young people in discussions about travel, barriers, and solutions. To kick things off, we begin with a creative and interactive icebreaker, modeling. This activity helps young people express their thoughts and feelings about their local environment through hands-on creation. Participants are given Play-Doh, plasticine, or Lego, and asked to build a model of a place that holds significance for them, whether positive or negative. Once everyone has completed their model, they take turns explaining their choices, discussing why the place is important and how it makes them feel. This activity sets the stage for deeper conversations about how the built environment affects their daily travel experiences. Next, we move on to mapping journeys. This activity encourages young people to reflect on their travel choices by visually representing their usual routes and highlighting key locations along the way. Each participant receives printed maps of their local area and highlighter pens in 3 colors: green for positive locations, yellow for neutral spaces, and pink for places that feel unsafe or difficult to navigate. Participants then mark their typical routes and annotate their maps with insights on why they've chosen particular colors for each location. This process helps them consider the factors influencing their travel decisions, such as convenience, safety, and accessibility, fostering a deeper awareness of how their choices shape their daily experiences. How it works: provide young people with a printed map of their area. Ask them to mark their usual travel routes to school, sports clubs, or shops. Use coloured pens to highlight positive experiences in green, neutral experiences in yellow, and negative experiences in red. Encourage discussion. What feels safe? What doesn't? Why do they choose certain routes? A more immersive approach to gathering insights is the walk-along activity. This involves walking a pre-planned route with young people, allowing them to share their real-time reflections on the travel environment. They might highlight safety concerns, areas that feel welcoming, or obstacles that prevent them from choosing active travel options. Facilitators will need to consider how they will document these insights, whether through written notes, audio recordings, or video, to ensure key points are captured accurately. Following the walk, a group discussion can help consolidate findings, allowing participants to identify patterns in their experiences and propose possible improvements. How it works. Identify local areas that feel unsafe to go to alone or are challenging for active travel. Plan a walking route covering these areas. As you walk, discuss experiences. What feels safe or unsafe? What improvements would make active travel easier? Record observations and summarize key barriers. Using Google Street View, participants can virtually navigate their travel routes, identifying key barriers and discussing what would make active travel more accessible. By taking turns guiding others through their routes and sharing their thoughts, young people can articulate their experiences while also engaging in discussions about potential improvements, such as better lighting, safer crossings, or dedicated cycle lanes. How it works. Identify areas that may present challenges for active travel. Use Google Street View to walk through these routes. Participants highlight concerns such as unsafe crossings or lack of cycle lanes. Annotate screenshots to document findings. Discuss possible solutions and improvements. To gain a broader understanding of daily travel habits, the Week of Journeys activity encourages young people to document their travel patterns over the course of a week. Using a simple worksheet, they record where they travel, how they get there, and why they do or don't choose active travel options. This activity helps uncover recurring challenges, such as unreliable public transport or safety concerns, while also highlighting opportunities to encourage more active travel choices in their daily routines. How it works. Participants record their daily journeys over a week, noting where they travelled, how they got there, why they did or didn't use active travel. Discuss patterns, highlighting recurring barriers or opportunities for change. Engaging young people in discussions about active travel also means empowering them to connect with decision makers. The Local Leaders activity helps participants identify key figures in their community who influence transport and infrastructure, such as local councillors, MPs, or transport planners. Through online research, they compile a contact directory of relevant individuals and organisations, learning how to advocate for change and voice their concerns to those in power. How it works. Brainstorm key figures responsible for transport and community planning, such as local councillors and MPs. Research contact details and roles. Create a Local Leaders directory for future reference. Discuss how young people can engage with these figures to drive change. Once young people have identified the barriers to active travel, the next step is to find solutions. The Grid of Solutions activity helps them map out practical ways to overcome these challenges by linking problems to the people or organisations that can help address them. By brainstorming and structuring their ideas in a visual format, participants can clearly see how different stakeholders, from local authorities to community groups, can contribute to making active travel a more viable option for young people. How it works. Brainstorm people or organisations who could help solve active travel barriers. Create a grid. On the x-axis, plot the decision makers, such as local councils and schools. On the y-axis, plot any identified barriers. Participants write solutions on post-it notes and place them in the grid. Discuss feasibility and next steps. With insights from young people gathered, The next step is understanding how to organise and act on that information while keeping them involved in shaping outcomes. This section covers 3 key activities: categorising ideas, grouping them into broader themes, and developing an action plan. We'll also explore real-life case studies demonstrating these approaches in action. After collecting maps, notes, post-its, or discussion transcripts, the volume of information can feel overwhelming. Identifying key themes helps highlight common issues and ensures the research leads to meaningful change. This process begins with Activity H, categorizing ideas, which can be completed with or without young people, depending on time and needs. Before diving into detailed analysis, it helps to practice grouping ideas into predefined categories. This activity introduces participants to the concept of thematic analysis by using prepared factor cards. How it works: prepare factor cards with statements related to active travel, such as, "I feel unsafe cycling at night," or "There are no safe crossings on my route." Label broad theme categories such as personal factors, environmental factors, social and cultural factors, safety concerns, and economic factors. Ask young people to sort the factor cards into these categories. Discuss the reasoning behind their choices, acknowledging that some factors may overlap multiple categories. This simple exercise helps develop the analytical skills needed for the next step. This activity shifts from predetermined themes to participant-led categorization, allowing for a more organic organization of consultation data. If working with young people, this can be done in groups, encouraging discussion and collaboration to identify clear, actionable themes. How it works: write down every key idea, thought, or experience from the consultation onto separate post-it notes. Spread them out on a table or wall so that everyone can see them. Look for patterns. Do certain concerns appear repeatedly? Are there links between different ideas? Group similar ideas together and name each group, creating themes such as safety concerns or limited infrastructure. If needed, create a mind map to visualize the connections between themes. At this stage, you should have a clearer understanding of the key takeaways from the consultation. This final step is about turning insights into action, whether that's influencing policy, securing funding, or making practical changes in the community. How it works: identify the resources needed. This could include funding, community support, or materials like bike racks. Determine who needs to be involved, from local councils to transport authorities. Develop an implementation plan. What actions need to happen first? Who will be responsible? Set realistic timescales, breaking tasks into manageable steps. Create an evaluation plan to measure success. This could be surveys, focus groups, or tracking the number of young people engaging in active travel. Consider how to present the plan to funders or decision makers, making a clear case for support. Importantly, young people should remain part of the process, ensuring their voices continue to shape the changes that affect them. By following the steps in this toolkit, organizations can transform young people's insights into meaningful change, whether it's improving active travel routes, securing funding for safer infrastructure, or simply ensuring young people's voices are heard. The key takeaway is this: participation leads to impact. We encourage you to apply these activities, involve young people at every stage, and take the next steps towards a more inclusive, accessible, and active community. For more information, visit activetravel.leeds.ac.uk or contact the team at activetravel@leeds.ac.uk. Thank you for being part of this journey.